nerve endings and stuff like that. And I'll say, well, what is that neuron conducting? It's an action potential. And that's just what the science is. He can't really argue with that. Then I can say, well, plants conduct action potentials. And he can say, well, they don't communicate. But they do. They communicate through roots. They communicate through how much water they get in. And if you don't give them water, then some of them quite literally scream. And then I can go into, I can give the hypothetical, which would be, hypothetically speaking, if a person did not have a nerve or brain, but instead they had receptors on their skin which conducted action potentials throughout their blood vessels, let's say hypothetically they put their hand on a stove and it stimulated those skin receptors and they pulled their hand away because it was too hot for their body. Is that person not sentient or responding to a subjective experience?
Well, he would say that that person is obviously sentient.
Exactly. So you are contradicting yourself by saying that you are scientific and that you believe that pain is scientific, and you are contradicting yourself on your entire moral system because you're basing it around this little bubble that's around the action potential, which is the nerve. Is that all that makes someone sentient? No. It's the response to a threat in their environment causing that organism to change course. And that's in every living organism except for a virus, which is the only organism on this planet with single-stranded DNA. So you cannot tell me that any living organism is not sentient unless it's a virus. And I basically just debunked veganism right there because you're excluding almost half of the organisms on this planet on the basis that there is a capsule around that action potential.
Hold on. Wait, you what are you trying to prove? What's your proposition?
That any organism that conducts action potentials to respond to threats in their environment is experiencing a form of pain. Maybe it's not human pain as we understand it, but it is a form of pain.
Why do you need the action potential? Why are you bringing it up?
Because without the action potential, you don't have something that is giving you stimulation. Like the reason why when I touch a wall, I can feel it, it's the action potential from this nerves in my hand being sent all the way up to my brain. It's literally a chemical reaction of sodium and potassium ions.
Hold
And
on.
that's
Like, as far as I know, the retina doesn't have action potentials.
actually it does. So
The
it's stimulated
first,
by light.
the first layer in the retina, the first layer of the actual light-sensitive neurons in the retina do not use action potential. They use
Yes, they
grade
do.
they use like a gradient potential. They're always
That's graded potentials are action potentials. So it's a level of, so basically what I'm saying is it's depolarization. So depolarization, action potential, graded potential, they're all in the same sort of family.
why
It's all a
why
chemical
you
response to stimuli.
okay, I mean, so it's just chemical reactions. So any I'm not following your okay, what again,
So,
let's start over. What's your proposition?
all right. So sentience, as defined by science, is a chemical reaction by an organism in response to a threat in their environment which causes that organism to change course.
Wait. Sentience is defined by science? What do you mean
It is.
sentience? Sentience is defined by science?
It is.
What
Sentient
science?
cells are defined by science,
Sentience
by biology.
by in biology you have a term sentience?
Yes, sentient cells. That's what we define it by. A
Sentient
chemical
cells?
reaction. Yeah, a chemical reaction that occurs within an organism or in a cell where there's a threat in the external environment and that cell changes course based off of that stimulus. That's what a sentient cell.
Hold on. So, I mean, when he says sentience, he means, I think, something else than what you
So
mean.
when he says sentient,
What?
he's basing it off the vegan society's definition of sentience, which is if you have nerve endings and a brain. Now, that is very solely based off of the human experience, which disregards any possibilities for other organisms,
Well,
which by
he
the way they still have nervous systems.
hold on. He says that bivalves are vegan. You can eat bivalves because they don't respond to pain or something. So his
How does he know that? They still have action potentials. They respond to their environment in response to a threat.
look, I'll tell you the problem in debating, in my experience. If you start debating what I call empirics, like papers and stuff like that, that's a rabbit hole. Like I'll bring my papers, you'll bring your papers. We're gonna deadlock. It's gonna be a dead end. We're not gonna get You're not gonna get an admission as long as I have a paper, even a single paper, and you can have 1,000 papers. Yeah, I have a paper, you have a paper, whatever. So it's gonna be a dead end, and he's gonna bring his research why bivalves are not sentient for whatever reason. He'll have his argument or his sources, which
Well,
I
then all I have to say is so a cell has to have an encase. Oh, sorry. So a depolarization or an action potential, graded potential needs to have a casing in order to be considered pain,
hold on, let me
because that's what a
unlist.
neuron.
I forgot to unlist our discussion. Okay, no one saw it. Um, so
I mean, if you have an answer for that,
I'm just
because
saying,
there's no.
you look there. There are many ways you can debate a vegan or anyone, but there's fewer ways that you can win. Like if they said, like I already saw, he's already completely set up for annihilation. You just have to repeat what you sent him in the text message. Number two, all you have to do is just repeat it. And that's it. I mean, he already squinted his eyes, tilted his head, repeated the question. I could see that he knows that you know that this can destroy him. Anything, and see, you don't need any research, any papers for this. You don't want to start quoting papers because that's going to be a war of my papers versus your papers. That's
Well, it's not a war. That's the thing. It's just it's a simple question. Like if you define pain as action potentials being sent through neurons to the brain,
that's not how
then why
he doesn't define pain like that.
he defines it as how the human experience defines it?
Exactly, it's just his experience. It's very
Problem.
vague.
It's his experience, but it's not every animal's experience. So if you believe that all animals, or all sentient animals that you deem to be quote unquote sentient to be equal to humans, how are they equal if it's you're the one who's putting that idea of sentience into them? They're not asking for it.
Because he will say, because you can understand his, when he says that he feels pain, you understand what he means.
So it's
Therefore,
only and it. So let's say an other alien creature came to this planet, screamed whenever you cut them, but they didn't have any nerve endings. They didn't have any quote unquote signal that you understood, but they screamed when you cut them. They're not feeling pain.
I don't know what he would say, but what I think, in my opinion, you can win or you can have an endless discussion that he's going to, can.
Well, I mean, at that point, if we get to that point,
Which point?
and
An endless discussion?
well, no, if we get to the point where he's contradicting himself back and forth, then I'll probably say I want to end the discussion, and I'm just gonna leave.
Look,
I'm
he is
okay.
very masterful at manipulating the conversation. He's been doing this for, I don't know, 10 years. uh, like he's very masterful. So
I'll just be careful with what I
no,
say and I'll
it's
slowly.
I don't see. I, I mean, I was debating him last night. I mean, on global warming, he is very difficult to pin down, and and he's very difficult to concede. He's very difficult to admit concession, to admit he lost. When he feels he loses, he just says, "Okay, I don't want to talk about this. Goodbye," and and he goes away. Or, "You're an idiot." Bye. He could just say, "You're an idiot." Bye. And he's done this to me many times. "You're an idiot." Bye. So he's
I
gonna.
mean, if I don't, then I wouldn't really care. I mean, the thing is I don't. My goal isn't just to like get him to concede.
Why
It's
not?
also like there's.
You're not gonna change. Yeah, I don't think you're gonna change. I think if you make him concede, that's the most chance you have of actually making him, maybe change his mind. I don't believe you can do it because he is paid. He makes a lot of money from from his
Oh yeah, no,
lifestyle.
it's mind either. I just the goal that I want to have is there's also I know this sounds really stupid, but I do want to get a little bit of content out of this. And for me to do that, I do have to somewhat bring in science at some point,
So you
even
can
if
do
it means I
you
can
can
just leave
make him.
afterwards.
I would make him concede and then say, okay, is there anything else you want to talk about? But
Okay. I'll
first, finish him. First, finish him. Bring him to his knees and chop
and
his
then
head
go and
off. And
that's
then say,
okay.
okay, we're
That,
done. We're done with this debate. Okay, do you want to discuss something else? Is there something else you want to discuss? That's what I would do.
you know what? I like that. I'll do that. Okay. I'll do
Like,
that.
first, do everything you can to make him concede. Repeat again and again. You must concede that if you are agnostic to free will, then you are agnostic to crime, then you're agnostic to murder, then you're agnostic to carnivores being bad because they're murderers. You must concede. You must concede. Do you concede? He will say, "No, I don't concede because it's not. It doesn't entail that free will. Being free, like there's no free will means there's no crime. No, no, no. You can have no free will and still have crime and still have good and bad. That's what he's gonna say. And you're gonna spend a lot of time
And then I'll
proving
say that too.
what?
Then I'll say that hypothetical too. The
Yeah,
one with
yeah.
the stabbing.
Yes, 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 but you're gonna have a very hard time just just making him concede. It's gonna take an hour. Even if you fully concentrate on just making him concede, just on this one point that you are 100% sure of, it's still gonna take you. It could take you an hour, even if at the end he will concede, which I doubt he will. He's gonna play and he's gonna try and shift topics. He's gonna say, "So why did you say you're bad?" He's gonna bring up everything in the universe in order to avoid conceding. He doesn't like conceding. And if at the end he has to concede, he'll just say, "Okay, you're dumb. This conversation is over." Or he's gonna say, "You're just I don't know. Like if you don't believe in that, then Hitler was fine. Then that's a reductio ad absurdum. Then you believe that Hitler was a good guy. Then you're a Nazi sympathizer. I'm sure
Well,
you're
then I can say back to him that, well, you're the one who said you're agnostic to free will, so you're the one who believes that.
That's good. That's what you should do, but that's fine. But it's going to end. He's never going to concede. So I would just prepare.
Force, yeah,
So don't think
force.
about what
I said force him to concede first before
force.
everything else.
Yeah, force him to concede. Like you want content, that's fine. But because all the content you're gonna, if you're gonna just skip around topics, the content you're gonna have is gonna be he's gonna again call you dumb and call you this and call you that, or you're dumb or you're this or you if you just listen to him again, I mean he just kept on calling you names, and and why do you want that? I mean, now that he's done that, now put him in his place, prove that he contradicted himself. You promised in your videos that he made so many contradictions. Just show one contradiction. That's enough. Okay, that's the contradiction.
All right.
And if you,
So
hmm
I'll show that he conceded, or I'll get him to concede first and foremost. And if I do get him to concede within a timely manner, then maybe I'll go into it. But first, it's concede.
yes, you can.
All right. That's
Like,
good plan then.
I would not bring any other topic, not even let's first debate this and then move on to other. I wouldn't say anything. I would just move
Get him to
from,
admit.
yeah, from the get-go, go for the kill. From the first word you utter, you hold the knife and you're going to try and chop his head off. That's what you're there for. You're going to force him to concede. I would even start. So do you concede? So I sent you a text. Do you concede point number two? Do you concede that what I texted you? Do you concede? Do you concede? Do you concede that you lost the debate? That as a
Got
carnivore, I am not bad. Do you concede? So he's gonna say, so why did you say that? So why did you say you feel
because
bad?
well, if you agnostic to free will, then what made you determine that being carnivore is bad and being vegan is good?
No, no, he's gonna quote you. You said you're bad for being a carnivore. So why did you say it?
Well, I am. Well, actually, that's a good point. How would I respond to that?
Yeah, it's a good question, but you could say that's not important. That's not important. I want to retract. You can just say I retract. There's nothing bad there. I agree with you. I want to retract free will. You can even say I'm also free will agnostic, or you can even say I deny free will
Oh,
after what?
so I was thinking about it a little bit. I could say, well, first of all, I'm calling you out for a contradiction in your beliefs, so don't change it back to me. And as a scientist, I'm allowed to have healthy skepticism that there might be free will out there. But honestly, after you said prove it, and the more I thought about it, the more I can't say that there is or is not free will because there's no scientific proof. It's unknown. So honestly, I kind of retract what I said last time, and I don't think that I'm all that bad.
I wouldn't say kind of. I wouldn't say all that bad because you're opening up. Okay, so all not
Oh,
all that
no,
bad. So a little bit bad. Okay, so you still feel bad. So I would just be very strict in my usage of words. I would say
I don't feel bad.
I don't feel bad. I retract. I'm agnostic. I mean, however you feel. Do you feel agnostic to free will? Then tell them I feel the same as you. That I'm free will agnostic. Or like I'm
Well, then,
personally. What?
well, then he's gonna probably point it back to me and say, "Well, if you're agnostic to free will, then you believe that murder is good too."
No. If you're agnostic to free will, then you're agnostic to good and bad.
And then if I bring up that last part where he says, "Well, then you believe that murder is good and that you're like Hitler or whatever, you're a Nazi sympathizer," then I can't necessarily fight back against that because
That's
then I am all free
no,
will.
you are agnostic to calling anyone good or bad. I mean, this goes back to the court case with the stabbing and being manipulated. If we want to be scientists, then we cannot say that Hitler was bad. I mean, a scientist is cannot say Hitler was bad. There is no good and bad. Yeah, that's what being a scientist entails. And he's that's I mean, I understand the pain, the grief that this causes, the what's known as the absurdity, right? He would claim, "Oh, that's absurd. Your position is absurd." Well, that's not an argument. That's just the science of it. Absurd or not. if we are um agnostic to
I mean,
free will,
wrong.
what?
I just You're not wrong, but I also don't want to publicly admit that.
You
So
have
I
to. You have no choice. It comes with the
well,
territory of being a scientist.
well, actually, as I said, I could say that as a scientist, I have healthy skepticism, but I can't say that there is or is not.
So you
So
are so you're
that
agnostic as to Hitler being bad. That's what you have to say. That's what you're claiming. He's comparing you to Hitler. He's saying he does that all the time. He says carnivores are Nazis. There's no distinct. He says that killing animals is akin to the Holocaust. So he puts you exactly with Hitler. He accuses you of being Hitler. That's what he
well, I
does.
mean, accuse him right back. I mean, then there's the whole entire pain argument too. Like, what really constitutes a living being?
No, I mean, I I don't understand. What do you mean?
Well, what I said before, where um, you can't say that that. Oh shit! What was I gonna say? Everything except for a virus is technically a living being, so there is a cycle of life. So I mean, I can have um that's a good point. I don't know how much I want to admit that I'm fucking Hitler on literal live.
I understand. I understand.
Just mainly because I also have a company that I don't really want to fail.
I
So
understand.
any way to get around that?
What?
Is there any way to get around that?
No. No, because science basically, proves that there is no morality. So you cannot accuse anyone of anything based on science. That's actually the beauty of science. Science shows that you cannot be upset at anyone. I mean, that's the it it you know it resolves a lot of pain that people feel towards each other. We're always blaming each other, but science says no, you cannot blame anyone, not even yourself. It's really kind of beautiful. It absolves you of a lot of guilt. I think it's a very healthy way to live, and it even means that
Shit.
what?
Well, that's the only issue is I can't admit that on live. I literally can't.
I
That would be the end
understand.
of my company.
Yeah,
So
that's what he
I have to
does.
get
That's what he
it
does,
done.
and that's what he did to his in a previous debate. He threatened the other guy to come after him and to let the hospital. The guy was a doctor, and let the hospital know that they're employing a Nazi sympathizer. And that is how debates go. That's why I'm anonymous. I mean, that is how, and that's why he refuses to debate me. Basically, he runs away from every debate because he knows that he cannot come after me. I mean, that's one of the reasons that he runs away from me. They cannot come after me, so
Well, I mean, I'd
mhm.
also say like actually that's a good point. I can say as a scientist, even though I am technically agnostic to free will, I can have healthy skepticism that there might be something out there that constitutes free will, and I can base my own moral system around that. And my moral system is different from yours because it's subjective. And you can't tell me what I need to believe, and you can't tell me what's right and wrong based off of your own subjective
look,
morals.
look,
By the way,
you can simply not bring up Hitler and the Holocaust, because he knows that he has to stay. I mean, Look, he doesn't care because he's supported by his fans, so he can be a Hitler sympathizer. So he doesn't really care. But he would
Don't
come
bring.
out. He could easily come after you for that. So
All right, so I'll stick away from it. But if he does ask me what my morals are, I already came up with a good answer for that. So there's that too.
I mean, but you can just come after him. Just tell him that he is. You just tell him, look, you have to
You're
accept.
the one talking
I mean,
about.
you don't have to bring up Hitler and the Holocaust. All you have to say is, according to you, according to your logic, um, there is no good and bad. You don't have to bring up the Holocaust. I don't think he'll bring up the Holocaust because he's on the defensive. Because he brings up that he's free will agnostic. He knows what it entails. He already knows where this is going. You don't have to bring
Yeah.
up the Holocaust. It's
All right.
against him.
Okay. All right. So that's what I'll do.
So he told you it's tomorrow? When?
Yeah, it's tomorrow at 7. He said that he was in traffic. I don't personally believe him. I think he's just a little bit scared
No, no,
because
no. No. He said the day before that they're going to have dinner with a bunch of other YouTubers and stuff. So I knew that he's going to dinner at 5. They were leaving at 3. I mean, he explained his entire schedule. I knew he wouldn't be home in time.
uh,
I actually texted you on TikTok, but TikTok is such a mess. It keeps blocking me. It's such a nightmare, this app. Every time I text you,
bro.
it tells me, no, you're blocked. You cannot text.
Wait, what? Seriously? You're
Yeah,
not blocked? The
that's
fuck
what.
is TikTok on?
Yeah,
I can text you right now.
you can text me, but every time I text you, it blocks me, and then it says, okay, we're sorry, it was a mistake, and the next day it starts over. And I don't have Discord on my
Following you.
iPhone,
I'm
so
literally following. Fuck.
and every time I follow you, it unfollows you. I've already followed you on TikTok like 100 times, and it's just ignoring me. So
How? You
I
blocked or
don't know.
anything? That's so
No, I'm
weird.
not. I'm sure it's a bug. It's a bug with TikTok. I never use TikTok. Look, the main thing is to just keep on target, one target, finish him, get him to concede, 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 concede. Keep repeating the word. You have to concede. You have to concede. You have to concede, and that's it.
Okay.
And once, if you want more content, then after he concedes, and you're gonna have look, if you get him to concede, it's going to be after an hour of him running away and running and running and running, and you having to chase him. And don't I can feel that you want to cover more topics because it's so much fun to debate. But the most fun you're gonna have is by not switching topics, is by nailing him down and chopping his head off. That's the most fun. I mean, not literally, obviously. Like debate wise. Look, he's not going to concede. The chances of him conceding is astronomical. He's not going to concede. There's too much. Like he is paid to make fun of you.
Hey,
So
I have nothing going on Saturday. So if it takes a while, you know what? Fuck it. I'll make sure that I get everything I want out of him because I don't want to do this again.
what do you mean? Wait, you want to do all the topics?
No, I just want to do those two things. That's it.
Wait, two?
That's all
What two
I want to
things?
talk
What two
about. The
things?
one that we just talked about, I want to get him to concede and I want to talk about pain. That's it.
Why do you want to talk about pain? I can talk to you about pain. That's exactly my line of research. Like if you want to talk, if you really want to actually get to understanding pain, I could discuss that with you more than anyone on the planet. I
Well,
literally I study pain and pleasure.
I mean, the main reason I want to bring it up is just because I know that he's known for like calling people out for like pain, suffering, and stuff like that.
He is known for making fun of everyone and anyone about anything in order to win a debate. That's what he's known for.
So then I'll do my best. I'll get him to concede.
That's all. Don't waste your time with this guy. I mean, this he's terrific because he allows anyone. By the way, like every time he's live, not every time, but he's on Discord. There is like a debate room and a waiting room. Just you just go into the waiting room and then he brings you into the debate room and then you debate him. So you can always debate him. It's not like he's very charitable in that in that department. He's.
Well, that's kind of why I don't want to. I don't really want to go back. I don't want to give him more attention than he already kind of gets. So, like, what I want to do is just do it and get out.
That's
So,
That would be the best. I mean, if you can get him to concede, that's going to be literally a first in YouTube's history.
all right. Well, I'll get him to concede then.
All right. I mean, that would be amazing.